of course, most parts of Kampala. Came to Kampala, still there was no rain. So I'm hoping AM 7:40 something. But the sun is bright here in Kisasi, Bukoto Road, where I'm driving at now. So just thinking out loud, I was going through, I was thinking about my experiences this morning, and I thought it would be nice for me to share. Yeah, for the guys that were talking about my picture quality, I hope the light has improved. Yeah, so I was thinking out loud about the challenges that people go through. I think one of the biggest challenges that we have is mathematics, and yes, math was hard in class. From primary one, math was hard. Yeah, it went on to being hard until we had the chance to actually drop it. When we were in senior 3, most of us dropped mathematics, and we did that in favor of the arts subjects. Normally when you drop math, you drop physics, you drop chemistry, you drop biology and all. Yeah, so but when you drop math, we normally forget that math would be important for us later on in life. When I started doing business, then I realized that math was very important. What's more is that when I started living a bit far away from Kampala, then I learned that math was actually much more important than so many things that I thought. Now, math is very hard. So one of my followers was asking me, okay, Arthur, you want to buy a Prius. Are you going to buy a used Prius? Or are you going to buy a new Prius? So today I was thinking about how it's becoming challenging for me and my wife at home with one car, and everything is pointing us to buying another car, but math is a very interesting subject. Now, do we buy a new car now, a second car now, or not? Of course, if we buy another car, my manual car has to be kept, because, well, nobody really wants to buy a manual car anymore. Like I said, that's one of the reasons why you don't want to buy a manual car, because no one wants to actually buy a manual car. So I was thinking, if it was an issue of selling this one and buying like 2 of them, or buying another one, that's simple. This car has not really broken down, so we cannot just buy a second car. Why? We have some business obligations to take care of, some unfinished business at home, so it's a lot of math that has to that has to go on. Times I have to move, she has to move, and we are going to different places. Yeah, and we find yes, Mr. Kamori, good morning. Yes, 10 million can get a good Toyota Passo 1.3. Yes, you can. You, however, don't have to be picky about the number plate. Yeah, if you have a small budget and you're picky about the number plate, that's when you get cheated. So the math is, yes, of course we can afford to get another car, but we must not get another car, because the money, let's say 10 to 15 million that can get another car, or the 20 million that can get a car from the bond, if put in the business, could actually make about 50 million in the next 1 year. See? Yeah. So it's math that dictated that no, we should keep this one car and find a way of working around our schedules, so that when I'm moving, she's not moving, and when she's moving, I'm not moving, or we find a way of meeting our journeys halfway, so that I either drop or she drops me and continues with her journey, and then picks me, or I pick her when we're heading back home. So that's how we're going to do it for the next couple of years, until we can actually we think our business is straight on its feet, and now we can actually get another car. Then we could actually get a Prius or get another hybrid car. Yeah, so that was math. Now I'll go back to the math that normally disturbs people. This is, I think it's logic, not really math. You know, when you want to buy a car, you want a particular car, but you have a small budget. Okay, someone wants to buy, let's say, okay, I'll give you an example of one of my followers that wanted to buy a car. He had between 8 and 10 million. At least that's what he told me. Later on, I find that he posted up to 12 million on Facebook looking for a car. Now, I'll tell you this. Facebook is, let's say, the worst place for you to look for a car. When people are selling cars, the first people they tell are their mechanics. Okay, they tell their mechanic, I'm selling my car and I'm selling at this much amount. Now, the next person the mechanic tells are his friends and the brokers. Okay? Now, the next thing that happens is that brokers post these cars either on Facebook or they post this car on Gigi, or they share it on WhatsApp platforms where brokers are, or on other sales WhatsApp groups. Okay? Now, this is where majority of brokers get them, and each of them adds a 500k or a 1 million in the price. Okay? So, if you go and post on social media that I want a Toyota Wish, for example, my budget is 11 million, you're going to get a lot of offers. Okay? Now, the problem that normally disturbs my followers here is that you have a small budget, but you're specific about the kind of car you want. You're specific about the kind, the shape of car you want. You're specific about the year, manufacture year you want. You're specific about the condition of the car. You have a lot of specifics that should not be working with your budget. For example, my follower that I was telling you about, he told me he had between 8 to 10 million, but he was not willing to drive a Toyota Vitz. And that, it did not matter whether the Vitz was in perfect condition. He did not want to drive a Toyota Passo, no matter how good it was. Why? Apparently, he is a politician, so it's beneath him to drive a Toyota Vitz or Passo, and it doesn't matter how good the car is. So the option was to get a Raum. Now, I've told you guys so often, and I'm soon uploading a video where I interviewed my friend, the Benz mechanic, Engineer Kasim. Now, whenever you can, buy a new version, buy a newer year of a car you want. Try as much as possible to avoid buying older models of any car. Now, at a budget of 8 to 10 million, if you're going to get a car that is in good condition, you're going to get, let's say, a Raum or Spacio, you're going to get the older models. Now, the older models, first of all, they're not fuel friendly. 2, they have a very low resale value in case you want to resell later on. 3, and you need to really pay attention. Always get the newer models in any car if you can afford. The older models have a very low resale value. Okay? They are not as fuel friendly as a new version or a newer model, and the spares are getting depleted. Katugabe spare agwayo maduka. Okay, spare agwayo maduka. When I was talking to Kasim, he specifically said if you're buying a Mercedes-Benz, buy 2000 model or newer. Why? Because there is the spare for the older models is expensive. Okay, and that was very specific. And I'm his friend, and he told me, Arthur, if you want to get an older model, yes, you will get it, but it's going to be very expensive for you to maintain, because the older model spares are very, very rare to find now. Okay, he was very honest. Now, any other mechanic would tell you, because for him, he makes more money. If a spares are rare, he knows where to find the rare spares, so he makes more money. And I think this applies to all car brands. If you're going to buy any car, don't buy the older model. Okay, Gata said he wanted a Raum old model between 8 to 10 million. Now, me, I'm the kind of person that says, if you're going to buy a car, always make sure you buy it at 2 million lower than your budget. If, for example, you have a budget of 10 million, make sure you buy a car at 8 million. But again, at most you should buy 9 million. Why? If you're going to buy a car used here on the Ugandan roads, you're going to buy tires, of which, like the size 14 tires which I just bought for my car, each tire is about 170, 180. And that's if you buy from a distributor that also fits. You'll pay 170, 180, and they'll fit the tire for you. So if you're buying 2 tires, that's about 350,000. Buying 4 tires, that's 700,000. Now it does not matter which you're buying. If you're buying from Ugandan roads, the shocks, 2 of them will be broken. So it's important to note. Excuse me. Open. Sorry about that. So hi, Mr. Cafero, thank you for waiting. Good morning. Yeah, things have been tight on my end. Had a few deadlines to get to. Yeah, but I think I've put away most of the work. So Raum old model, for example, the engine is problematic to repair. First of all, it's very expensive to replace. Okay, the same thing happens with the Spacio old model. And these engines in these cars are older technology, so they're not friendly on the fuel. This is something that I'm trying to tell you guys. If you want to buy a car, always buy a VVTi. Forget about status. Council Yunus in his interview told us that status almost made him broke. Forget about status for once. Okay? Now, if you're going to buy a car between 8 and 10 million, there are 2 cars that I recommend that you will probably enjoy driving. You'll enjoy driving a Toyota Vitz between 8 and 10 million. But if you're going to buy a Vitz, buy one that has a 1.3cc engine. That is the one, I think it's the 2NZ. Yeah, that's the 2NZ engine. Okay, it's a 1.3cc engine. If you're going to buy a car between 8 and 10 million, Toyota Vitz with the 2NZ engine, which is a 1.3. Okay, you can also buy the Toyota Passo. I think that has 2SZ engine. That's a 1.3. Don't buy a Passo with a 1.0 engine or the 900cc. You're not going to enjoy yourself driving this car. Okay, it's important for us to remember you will not enjoy driving a 1.0cc or a 900cc engine car, especially if you're a man. Now, this does not mean that the 1.3 engine in the Toyota Passo is very strong. No, but it's better than the 1.0cc. Okay, always remember that. I'm recommending for you to buy 1.3 because it's more powerful, and I know that in Uganda here it's rare to find someone that buys a car and then ngajitambuliramu your car all the time. Sometimes you'll be moving with your wife, with your kids, with your family, and other times with your buddies. So it's a good thing that Ogura engine and Neneko on your car. Okay, and then sometimes you'll find that if you buy a 1.0cc, you're buying it to save fuel. But if you load the car as much as we load our cars here in Uganda, you'll end up consuming as much fuel as a person that has a 1.5cc engine. So always remember that. Yeah. I'm driving at the Bokoto traffic lights now. Let me see if I can share the footage here. The lights are red now. Yeah, I wanted to share this again last time. So you see those 2 traffic lights there. The one on the left says if you're going straight, keep in the left lane. The one on the right is an arrow showing that if you're going on the right, go the right lane. Now, a lot of people end up in the right lane when they are going left or when they are going straight. And a lot of people end up in the left lane when they are going right. That causes traffic jam. Sometimes it causes accidents because as you cross, you can hit a border or you can scratch another car. Always take note of that. Now, there are those traffic lights where there are 3 in the center. Okay, there are 3. One is straight in is left. So keep in the lanes that which side you're going. Now let me talk about the current fines that police is giving out. You need to understand that police is currently issuing tickets without your consent. They use the cameras on the road. If, for example, you drive past the speed limit, okay? If you drive past the speed limit, police issues a receipt with the camera as evidence, okay? With the camera as evidence, and what they do is they then publish your name or your car. They publish it online, and then they tell you to go for your receipt at the police station that coincides with where you committed the offense from. So if, for example, you are at the Chira Road, and then you overtake when you're not supposed to overtake, or you drive badly, what they do is they issue a ticket, and then they tell you to go to Chira Road police station to pick your ticket. These days you don't have to sign. You get, and you know they're serious about whoever has a ticket balance. So if you're driving on Kampala roads, be mindful. Tovuga bubi wali camera, vuga bulungi, bulolengera camera, vuga bulungi. Make sure you are at your best behavior, because those very cameras are being used to issue tickets to you. So you drive properly. So between 8 to 10, two cars that I recommend, especially if you're the kind of person that doesn't want to spend a lot of money on fuel, gula Toyota Vitz, okay? RS, jebaita RS, Toyota Vitz jebaita RS, ebera mu engine 13 jebaita 2NZ. Oba gula Toyota Passo 13 ebera mu engine eri 2SZ, okay? 13. Now, if you buy a Toyota Vitz, and nga ya CC 10 oba Toyota Passo CC 10, you're going to have a hard time. First of all, and those engines break down very easily. So if you're going to buy your car, yeah, some people drive cars for 10 years. My God, I want to get the stomach to drive. I think I'll drive it for 10 years, but now I don't think I can drive a car for 10 years. Yeah, so someone has asked me, how do those pump attendants and I swore to not take Gwendo again. By Gwendo, I don't mean really Gwendo, but I'm saying because so the pump attendants, how they do it, when you go to a pump, remember, he has just given fuel to someone else. If he has pumped 20,000 into a car that came before you, and you come and you tell them, put 50,000 for me. Now, if they see that you're not looking, what they do is they don't reset the pump. Tanyigamu figayo mugambi. So they simply put the pump in your tank and they pump fuel. Now, when the pump is starting to count, etandikira ku mitwalo ebiri gye yasembyeo okupumpinga mu motoka eyaze before you, and then they give you the 30,000, and just like that abakubye empewo ya mitwalo emeka ebiri. So the trick is not really the basic thing is to always open the tank as you get out of the car, so that by the time they put that nozzle in your tank, you're there looking. That way tasobola kutandikira ku mitwalo ebiri, they'll have to write to pump into to put in the digits of the amount of fuel that you want. That's how they cheat, and that's how they cheated me, I'm sure, because I didn't look. By the time I decided to look, the pump was already at 48,000 and I wanted 50k. So it's possible that guy yangu bempeo ya mitwalo nge satu. Yeah, but I suspect jali mitwalo nge ebiri chitundu, because when I look at the mileage, and mark you, I know the mileage that a liter goes. A liter goes for between 14 to 15, okay, 13.5 to 15 kilometers. Now this didn't even go up to 11. The only explanation is that a few liters were taken out of my fuel when I refuel. So that's how they cheat fuel. Yeah. Mr. Kamuli, yeah, the Paso is good, but if you have 10 million, I still recommend the Vitz is always a better option. The Paso is trendy right now, but if you can get a Vitz RS, that car will outlive the Paso. First of all, the Vitz is raised, is higher than the Paso. Okay, the RS, of course, the 1.3 I'm talking. Don't get, by the way, please note that there are mechanics and brokers that get 1.0 cc cars and put a 1.3 because they know we are looking to buy 1.3 cc cars. So they get a Toyota Vitz, okay, that has a 1.0 cc engine, probably one that is weak or has died. They buy a 1.3 cc engine at about 3 million. And engine there. Now what happens is that they normally buy this car cheaper. Aja kule boro ke million inganya, the engine is dead, and wajigula million nya nagula engine ya million nga bili chitundu. They put that engine in there. The next thing they do is that they buy a bumper. You know, the one thing that separates the Toyota RS from the normal Toyota, the Toyota Vitz RS from the normal Vitz is the back bumper. The front bumpers can even always be the same, but the Toyota Vitz RS has reverse lights in the bumper, okay? But the normal Vitz has the reverse lights where the brake lights are. So take note. Now, so what he does, he goes and buys a bumper, back bumper. Mostly they change the back bumper, but sometimes they can even change the front bumper, because the front bumper of the Toyota RS that is original, that came as an RS, has still spotlights in the bumper, but the normal Vitz doesn't have the spotlights in the bumper. So omugezigezi ajagenda agule the front bumper, the back bumper, put the atekemu the 1.5 1.3 cc engine. The other difference with the Toyota RS and the normal Toyota Vitz RS and the normal Vitz is the Echisawa. Let me show you. You see the normal Vitz, if you have ever seen it, the normal Vitz has a digital clock, but the Vitz RS has this kind of clock, the odometer. Echisawa chayo si cha digital, Vitz RS. Vitz eri normal, echisawa cha digital. So when you're going to buy a Toyota Vitz 1.3 cc, note that. Of course, there are those that the UK version, the UK made, the Vitz that were made for the UK market, zezimuzali digital clocks, but still 1.3 cc. Na ya atezo tebazita Vitz. Some of them are called the Echo. They have different names. The Vitz that were not made for the Japanese market, exactly for the UK and European market, they have different names. Even when you get the logbook, it will not have a Toyota Vitz. It will have Toyota something, Toyota Echo. What's the other name? Yeah, they have different names. So if you see that the Vitz has a digital clock, it has the normal bumpers, and they tell you it's 1.3 cc, check the name. Erinya lina kubali anjalo tebera Toyota Vitz, ebera Toyota Echo, Toyota. If I see it, I'll tell you, I'll show you. But just know, if you're buying, if I'm to make comparison for you guys, Vitz, Paso, always buy a Vitz. Always buy a 1.3 cc Vitz, either the RS or the one made for the UK or the European market. It has a different name. Kati, why am I saying that you should buy a Vitz instead of a Paso? Because a Vitz will always outlive the Paso. Ingeri, it has a stronger body. It is raised up, okay? It is faster. It is much more powerful. It's stronger, basically, okay? It even has much more space than the Paso. So always that. Now, if you have between 10 to 15 million, if you can make 15 million, you have real money. With 15 million, you can get a variety of cars. Now, these are things that normally your mechanic will not tell you, your broker will not tell you. That with 15 million, actually between 13 and 15, you have a variety. You can choose for a variety of cars. You can get the Ractis, you can get the Alex, you can get the what was that car that looks like the RX? You can get a Spacio new model, you can get a Rawum new model, you can get a Toyota Fielder, of course not the very new models, but you can get a Toyota Fielder. If you're the kind of guy that likes Subaru, you can get the Legacies, you can get the Foresters, you can get an Alteza, you can get the Mark II in very good condition, by the way. At 15 million, don't compromise on quality. If you have 15 million, make sure that you get a car that is good, that is in very good condition. Because 15 million, you're almost buying a new car, Mark U. Why? Because most of the new cars that are on the road in Uganda today are between 20 to 30 million. If you have 15 million, you could easily add 5 million and get a new car from the bond. Okay, you could just add 2 million and get a new Passo from the bond. You add 3 million and get a new Toyota Sienna from the bond. You get what I'm saying? So 15 million, don't compromise. Talk about a million and above, and you buy a very old car because your broker has told you it's sold at a higher price elsewhere. It would not matter how much the car is sold. When you have 15 million, don't compromise. You can get a car at 15 million. Always remember that. At 15 million, you can even get a Toyota Primo new model. Okay, at 15 million. Guess at 15 million, you can even get a drone. The drone, of course, will not be in very perfect condition, but you can get a drone. I'm just saying that 15 million is a lot of money. We're to compromise. I was talking to one of my followers here that I helped pick out a car, and he was saying, "But Arthur, why have you charged me 400,000?" Let me just give you the kind of car he bought. He bought a Toyota Wish at 15 million. And he was telling me that I'm charging him 400,000 for inspection, which is too much. I told him, you're spending 15 million for a car, okay? Are you sure you want to risk 15 million because you don't want to spend 400,000 on someone that will give you an honest opinion? I'll tell you one thing. If you don't buy a car with your mechanic or with a broker that has taken you, they have a loss. Because if you don't buy a car that day, go and get someone else to help you choose a car. That's why when they get you, they make sure you buy. They'll say all the good things they can about the car that they have spotted so that you buy. Because me, on the other hand, when I charge you, I'm charging you to inspect until we get a good car. My goal is get a good car because I have a brand to protect. I don't want to be the reason you get a bad car at all to go on Chawe or to you come to my YouTube channel and say that guy faked me. That's why we're going to use my car to move around, to go to these places, okay? And it's important that I don't compromise because one per day is sent is normal. And these days fuel is expensive. A liter is 6,500. You get what I'm saying? So, but later on he understood it and we got a very good wish. Yeah, I'm waiting to see what he has to say about the wish we got. I don't want to compromise whatever we did now. Yeah, that will come later. But anyway, make sure that if you're going to buy, you invest in inspection. Yeah, I'm at a spot where traffic police has overrun traffic lights. Yeah, and there are a lot of border guys around here. As you can see, this is the Nakawa traffic lights that head to yeah, someone was asking. I'm going to do the interview on taxi business, so don't you worry. It's going to come and it's going to be very well packaged. So for the guys that want to join the taxi business, I'm also going to do an interview on the lorry business for those that want to join the trucking business. You want to buy your car, your Toyota Town S, and give it to someone to give you daily income. or you want to buy a box body, I'm going to do that because a number of my followers want to know how that kind of business operates if you're going to do it profitably. YF engine. Now, if you want to buy an engine, you're going to do two things. The first place for you to go to buy engines is Chiseka Market. Lots of guys bring engines or half engines. The second place is Katwe. There are also guys that import engines and have engines. Now, if all those places fail, you go to places where they do salvage, like Wise, Kuche Wise, where they call Kuche Wise. If you go to Chiseka and fail to get the engine you're looking for, it does not matter which engine. You go to Katwe and fail to find the engine you're looking for, the best option now would be Kuche Wise, Jebate Mere Motoka, or any other place where Bate Mere Motoka. If you see the kind of car that has the engine you want, then you go there and buy that engine. Now, sometimes repairing your engine might be cheaper and a better option than buying an engine. But I'm assuming that by the time you've asked me where to buy an engine, you have seen that option. There are cars where it's just much easier for you to just buy a new engine, like the Toyota Primos, Toyota Beat, like my Corolla here. The engine will cost me 2.5 or 3 million, and I'll drive it for 10 years without it breaking down ever again. When repairing it, if I am to overhaul the engine, I will overhaul it every like 6 months or 10 or a year. And so I buy the new engine and put it there. But there are cars where overhauling the engine is cheaper. Like if you have a Toyota Super Custom, overhauling the engine is always better. If you have a Toyota Hilux, overhauling the engine is always better. Okay, if you have a Prado, overhauling the engine is always better because the amount of money that you use to overhaul the engine can actually get you another Prado in good condition. So it's basically the math, like I said when I started. It's always the math. The other math that I'm going to remind you of, yes, we are going to Christmas season. It feels good to have your own car during Christmas because transport is hard. Taxi drivers, bagenze muchalo. Uber is also hard to catch. Safe border is expensive during Christmas. So it's tempting for you to want to get your own car. Okay? But I want you to do the math. If you have not owned the car for all the months of this year, are you going to be driving that car for all the months of next year? Okay? If not, now it might actually be easier for you to hire a car for the Christmas period. You know, there is a guy that does financial education, and he always talks about the supply chain, that if you're the kind of person that wants to buy a day old chick, look after it, and then look after it until you get the eggs, and you're going to find a lot of hardships, and sometimes you may not make any profit. It's the same thing here. Not everyone should have a car of their own, because that's how sometimes we struggle. I have a car because I drive it every day. If you're the kind of person that normally drives your car only during Christmas season, it's cheaper to hire. Okusinga ogenda ogule motoka ya million 10, get 3 million, hire a car. Because you're not going to be fixing this car. In fact, if it breaks down, they'll give you another car. That's if you don't just hire from a friend or someone. Just go to a company where they hire cars. That's their business. Because if it's their business, mark you, the car has comprehensive insurance. It's in tip-top condition because they hire these cars to different clients. What a million is a video over Satu if you're going to hire, because you can hire a car for like $1 million a month. Okay? Yeah. Kati, if you're going to be using it for like December or mwezi gumu, you can hire that car for 1 million. Do you know how much you're saving? Togenda teka musenza inspection inze afa kujja kukeberera, togenda kanika motoka, togenda kola service, togenda gula insurance, togenda kola transfer fees, okay? Togenda sasula paper in case you buy a car that has those papers, togenda gula mipira, togenda kukola repairs of any kind. So if you're going to be using the car, if you normally use a car for only Christmas, I see a lot of cars parked in parking places. My God. And I'm asking myself, why did this person spend 20 million to buy a car only to park it? And you'll find that such a person has a business that has about 5 million capital. You get, it's the math that I was saying you, that right now we are finding difficulty in sharing the car with my wife, but we have resolved to find a way to synergize and work around it. Kakati, to use the car only once a month, just talking to all these cars that hire cars, you can hire self-drive. No 1 million yemu, no ba name twala tana security, over million and security in case you scratch the car and all, zebajjo kwata ko baji repairing. Okay? But I know bonobo vuge modoka etali yo, you're going to look after it properly, oleme kujitomeza, oleme kujonona. And just like that, you drive a motoka in good condition, get number, you get. And after Christmas, if you're going back to work, or you drive their car, put it in their parking lot, security, and you go. And just like that, you've spent not more than 2 million on a car, and you still have your capital to use in your business. Same applies to Bantu Abali One Kampala. I mean, why would you have a car when you don't drive it every day? I drive my car every day, 85 kilometers. There is a time when I still lived in Kasangati, when I was doing the math and do I really need a car now? Because it was very cheap to travel to town, 2,000 and 2,000 back. By the time my kids hadn't gone to school yet, so we would use 4,000, me and my wife to town, 4,000 back, that's 8,000. And then by then I drove a car that used 15 to 20,000 depending on the driving conditions. Okay, so it meant that if we took taxis, we would actually save. This doesn't apply anymore. Because right now it's cheaper for us to actually drive our own car. So we drive every day. But do the math. All that is your math. The other thing that I was thinking about today morning, and I think if nobody actually tells you this, I will tell you. Traffic police might stop me. I'm going to chat like nothing is happening, and just like that they didn't stop me. Anyway, this, nobody tells us, nobody prepares us for this. And now, for us that have been raised in a generation where majority of men have been raised by women, not that it's a bad thing, but majority of us have been raised by ladies. And when a man is raised by a woman, there are things that the mother does not, or the grandmother, or the auntie does not tell them, but their father would tell them. Okay? Yet they tell this to their girls, their daughters. However, still, every child needs a father figure, and majority of us have not had this experience. I did not. I was orphaned at 2 years, so I grew up with my grandmother. I realized later on in life that there are lessons that I did not get from her that I ended up Nambito made up went. You get, and I think it happens to majority of people in my generation ages between 20 and above. Okay, ages between, let's say, 35 and below. We have been raised by women. Not that it's a bad thing. We have not been prepared for the harsh truth of life that everybody is out to get you. And nchibagamba kati buli muntu ajja kukulya kukumalawo. Okay? That's why normally when I do my videos bagamba ba broke over maze. I'm not here to get brokers. I'm not here to get mechanics. No. I'm telling you what I've experienced in my life. I have a friend of mine. He's a broker. He's also a mechanic. Yeah. He's not like the expert, the kind of guamutakana longosa, but he's good at what he does. But one thing I learned from him, because he's open, he tells me, is that majority of these guys are out to get you. Your mechanic, if you have a car right now, your mechanic is out to get you. That's why even the slightest mention of you selling your car, he will rush to tell you that they'll buy it at a lower price. Because if they buy at a lower price, for him he can sell it at a higher price, nako cut. Okay? Now the same thing happens with your broker. gwomanyi nti akuguza emmotoka. I have a friend of mine, again, the time when Uber was booming, I was driving Uber, I had a Vitz. Two friends of mine also bought Vitz. One of them bought a Vitz at 9 million. I bought mine at 10. The other friend of mine bought at 9. It was in very good condition. It was the 1.0cc. Mine was a 1.3. And Uber was doing well. So another friend of ours said, I'm going to buy a car. And I told him, you can't get a Vitz at below than 9 million that is in good condition. He said, and he was confident that his broker friend was going to get him a car in good condition. I told him, but Jakuba said, and I went mute. So what happened is that one day he calls me, I said, okay. Now what I didn't know is that he hadn't yet paid. So when I got to the car, it was in bad condition. It was a Vitz, it was a UAQ then. And he had bought the car 6 million. Remember I told him you cannot get a good Vitz at less than 9. But he got this Vitz at but like I said, if you have 6 million, the first thing you're going to do is stop being a little picky about the type of car and be picky about the quality of car. I hope I'm clear. If you have a small budget, stop being picky about the brand of car or type of car and be picky about the quality of the car. Stop being picky about the number plate and instead be picky about the quality of the car. At 6 million, you can get a Toyota Primo. Okay? At 6 million, the Primo is what I recommend. Why? The older model, of course. I recommend the Toyota Primo because the resale value will not go down for starters, but also because majority of the time the Toyota Primo is in good condition. Okay, it's drivable. But you can also get Toyota Kumi. You can get Chivina, which is the Corona. I have a review video on the Corona there. Yeah, get a Starlet. Yeah, but all those cars are older engine technology, so they are not very friendly on the fuel. And normally when people tell me that Toyota Primo is friendly on the fuel, because probably they have not driven cars that are very fuel efficient. So but yes, you can get a car at 3 million. Naitekamu mathi ngononye motoka eyo totomera butomezi. Don't buy the body. Okay, there are a lot of things that need to be looked at when you're buying a car, and your mechanic might not tell you exactly why, because first of all agenda kulia the brokerage fee here, and then akuyeke ezokukanika. But if you can, like I said, don't be too picky about the type, but be picky about the quality, because you might buy a car at 6 million and end up spending 15 million repairing it. But if you pick the right car, you can buy a car at 6 million and enjoy driving it for the rest of your life. And then you even buy newer cars. So yes, my brother, you can get a car at 6 million, but the cheaper the car you want to buy, the more picky you should be. I hope I'm very clear. So because the internet is disturbing me right now, and there are a lot of traffic officers on the road that look at me like, my God, this guy has a phone on the dashboard. I have to go. I hope my discussion, my thoughts have been not only entertaining, but also eye-opening. So have a good day, guys, and may God bless whatever kind of work you're going to put your hands to. Ciao.